Hello, guys. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Wherever you are joining us from today, welcome to Excel Tips class. This evening, my name is David Ahonso, and I will be your host this evening. Um, I'll be your tutor this evening. Welcome to the class. So this evening, what we'll be looking at the story of a guy called Tolu. I want to see what he did with Microsoft Excel. So he used excuse me, he used Microsoft Excel to track his monthly expenses, and that's what we're going to do this evening. So Tolu always found it hard to figure out where his money went each month. So he will scribble expenses in a notebook, do some mental calculations and arithmetics, and still be unsure how much was left in his account. So one day, after a little too much spending on snacks, he decided to try something different. So he decided to try Microsoft Excel to track his expenses. So what did he do? He created a simple table with his weekly expenses, and with just a few formulas, he was able to have a good overview of how his spending has been during the month. Okay, so he used formulas like sum for his monthly expenses, average to show his weekly spending, and then did some basic calculation using Excel to find out how much is left after he had spent uh, uh, after he has spent what he spent on his expenses. Now Tolu can track every naira with confidence. No more guessing, no more stress. And that's what we're going to look at today. How Tolu did his how he was able to track his monthly expenses with Excel. This evening, like I said, my name is David Ahonso, and I want to welcome you again to this Excel free tips class this evening. And this training is brought to you by Relief Tech Academy. Relief Tech Academy is a technology company that trains people on how to use technology tools to improve productivity, whether in business or in personal life or in any aspect at all that you want to use technology. So that is what Relief Academy does. You can visit our website at www.rolieftech.com. You'll see a lot of things that we do there. We do one-on-one mentorship, we do one-on-one coaching, we do Excel masterclass, we do Python masterclass, SQL masterclass, and um, so many other things that we do, just to educate people in technology. So this evening, let's look at how Tolu uh, tracked his monthly expenses. Okay. Now we are having this data set, very simple data set to show what exactly Tolu did. So we have this um, simple data set to demonstrate how to track your monthly expenses, maybe personal expenses, family expenses, business expenses. So we have for this month, we have we have week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4, because we know that on the average, every month is made up of 4 weeks. Then we have the expenses for each of the week. For week 1, we have a total of 15,000. So let me put a currency to it. Let me say Naira, a total of 15,000 Naira. This is just an example, all right? You can increase the number depending on your situation. So he spent 15,000 Naira in week 1. In week 2, he spent 13,000 Naira as expenses. Then in week 3, he spent 16,000 Naira, and week 4, he spent 14,000 Naira. So his income for each of the weeks is 20,000 Naira. So his income stayed constant throughout the month. So for week 1, 20,000, week 2, 20,000, week 3, 20,000, week 4, 20,000, and week 4 is 20,000. So the next thing we want to do now is that we want to get a summation of his expenses for the whole of the month, a summation of his expenses for the whole of the month, which we're going to call the total expenses. So we can do it, we can put it here. Let me just write here like total expenses. So, and it's going to be here. So I'm going to enter a simple Excel formula, or let me call it Excel function, to do a calculation of all his expenses. And I'm going to use the sum formula, the sum function, okay? So I'll do equal to sum, that's the first one. I'll select it by pressing my tab key to select it. So the function is asking me to input the first parameter, and that is denoted by number 1, as you can see on the screen. So the first parameter is days. I'll select days, okay? Now, to make it faster, instead of selecting them one after the other, I can do colon, then select the last parameter, which is days. So basically, I'm telling Excel to sum up this figure from cell B2 to cell B5. Then I'll close the parentheses and hit enter. So this is the total expenses for the whole of the month, 58,000 naira. Okay, that's the total expenses for the whole of the month, right? So that's the total expense for the whole of the month for this example we are looking at now. Okay, that's the total expense. What we want to find, the average spending for the week. Average spending for the whole of the month. So I'll come down here and just type average, okay, average weekly spending. Average weekly spending. And then let me just increase this one a bit so that we have proper visual here. So average spending for the whole of the week. Okay, so to get the average spending for the whole of the week, we're going to use another Excel formula to calculate the average. So the formula is called average, just as the name is. So to access the formula, we press equal to into the cell, okay? And then we start typing average. So you can see Excel has popped it up. That's the first one. So I'll select it by pressing my tab key. And then it's asking me to input the first number. So mind you, the numbers we want to look for the average is this number in cell B2 to B5. So I'll just type B2 colon B5. You can use uppercase letter, you can use lowercase letter. It doesn't really matter. So far you get the proper cell address, okay? Then I'll close the parentheses and hit enter. So this is the average spending for the month, okay? So let me make these two guys bold so that they'll be different from other stuff on the page, okay? On the worksheet rather. So for the whole of the month, he spent 58,000. Total expenses was 58,000 naira. And then the average spending per week, on the average, it was spending 14,500 naira. Okay, before we move on, let me see if I can just input the naira symbol. Do I have it here? Okay, let me go to more formatting, then search here and scroll down and see if I can find the Naira symbol. Okay, let me use this one. Let me use this one and then click OK. All right. Then let me do the same thing to this one. Highlight the whole of the column. Then come to this currency symbol here. Click the drop down arrow, go to more accounting formats. Then on this accounting, come to this side that says symbol. And then if you click this drop down, you see this drop down here. If you click this down arrow, you see this drop down. Then you can now go down to look for naira, naira. Okay, naira. Okay, okay, I'm not there yet. Naira. Or let me just type it. Now, where's Naira? Naira. Where is it again? Where is it again? It is Arabic currency. Um, Looking for Naira now. Okay, I found it here. Okay, then select this. Okay, so our amounts are now properly formatted. So we can now have a good understanding of what is happening here. So this guy, the average spending for the month is 14,500 and the total spending was 58,000 naira. Okay, so what else can we do? What else can we do with this data? What else can we do in tracking the expense? So we want to find out what was left after spending all this amount, what was left as leftover. So I'm going to create another column here. So I'll call it remaining. Let me just call it remaining, because that's what is left. Um, Let me first of all format it into Naira currency before we now do the calculation to find what is remaining. Okay. Okay, so let me select this one. Oh, sorry. Let me select this one again and click OK. All right. So you can see that it's as if nothing happened, but by the time we start entering in our figures, you begin to see how it will be formatted into, into Naira. Okay, let's move on now. So for this, how do we find what is remaining? So we're going to use a simple Excel formula in this case now. Okay, we actually want to do a subtraction between these numbers here and these ones here. Okay, but there's no direct function in Excel to do subtraction. All right, that's why we're going to write out a formula, a very simple formula to do the subtraction. Okay, so this is how we write the formula. So press your equal to sign. When you press equal to sign, you are telling Excel, oh, Excel, I'm going to enter here a formula, or I'm going to enter in a function here. So Excel is already prepared. Okay, so we want to subtract the expenses from the income. Okay, and because the income part is like the bigger part, like the numbers, they are the bigger number, we'll put them first. So the first one here, after you put your equal to sign, you can click on it to select it. Okay, or you can just type it, because if you know the cell address already, you can type C2, then you put minus, that subtraction sign, then select this as well. Okay, and then you press enter. So Excel will automatically calculate for you what is left. So how do we do for the rest of these cells to find what is remaining here? So what I can do is to just come to the right bottom corner of this selector. Is green here. So and come to the right where my pointer will turn to a black cross. Then I'll press my left mouse key, hold it down, then drag it down. Okay, and Excel will automatically do the calculation for me. So from here now we can see what Tolu did in tracking his monthly expenses. Okay, so we can also implement the same thing or replicate the same idea to track our monthly expenses. So once again, let me just do a quick recap that for week one, the expense was 15,000 naira. The income was 20,000 naira. Week two, the expenses were 13,000 naira and the income was 20,000 naira. For week three, the expenses were 16,000 naira. The income was 20,000 naira, and week four as well. So here we calculated the total expenses for the month. Okay, and we did that by using the sum function in Excel to calculate the summation of this, and this. All right. And then we also found the average weekly spending for the month. So we want to look at it that on the average, how much did he spend in a week? So we use the average function to do that as well. Okay. And on this column, we created a new column, which is called remaining. So here we entered in this formula, not function now, this formula to calculate the difference between the income and the expenses, okay, for each of the week. All right, for each of the week. We can even go ahead to find out how much did he have remaining in total for the whole of the month. So in that case, since in that case we can calculate here how much he had in total remaining. So we can say equal to sum, okay, sum. Then we select this guy here, okay, colon. Then select the last one here and close the parentheses and hit enter. Okay, for the month, he had 22,000 naira remaining. So his, then we can also do the same thing here to find out how much was his total income for the whole of the month. Okay, we can find that as well. Say this colon, then come down here and highlight this as well. Select everything and then close the parentheses and hit enter. And then we'll find the figure here. So what do we have here? What we have here is this. For the whole of the month, his total income was 80,000 naira. The total expenses were 58,000 naira. So if you find the difference between 80,000 and 58,000, what you have left is 22,000 naira. Okay, so this is how you can use Excel to track your monthly spending. Okay, so we have done an aggregation of the weekly spending here. You can make it daily spending. Okay, you can make it daily spending, like this one will be day one. You can even put the date, day one, day two, day three, and all that to track your daily spending. But in this case now, we are only tracking the monthly, we are only tracking the weekly spending rather. We are tracking the weekly spending to see what is happening with the finances of Tolu. Okay, so thank you very much for coming to the class. If you have any question or you have any comment, just drop them. If you are watching this video on YouTube, you have any question or comment, drop them in the comment section and then we'll attend to it. Once again, I want to tell you that this Excel free class, Excel free tip class, is brought to you by Relief Tech Academy. Relief Tech Academy is a technology company that trains people on how to use technology tools to improve productivity both at work and at home. Okay, you can visit our website, visit us on our website at www.rolieftech.com. That is where you'll find us and see all the amazing stuff that we are doing. So once again, I want to say thank you for coming for the class. Next week, Saturday, we're going to meet again to look at another free tips that we can use in Excel, or another thing we can use Excel to do to improve our productivity both at work and in business and at home. Thank you very much.